watching Rock and Metal News right here with Kenny fucking Paul from Hell Yeah, come on!
Hey guys, this is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News with a Rock and Metal News CD review of the new Avenged Sevenfold, Hail to the King. Hail to the King is out now, and let's get to the review of it here. It appears to me that Avenged Sevenfold really wanted to cut back on their real heavier type sound and their real sort of intricate song structures, and they've definitely done this on this album. When I first heard the beginnings of Shepherd of Fire, the first song on the album, I did notice that the production was amazing. The tom sound was great. It almost had a feel to me of like a Metallica Enter Sandman kind of riff that cuts in. On the first song, there was some nice guitar work, some great harmonies, and they have some keys on the first song that make it really a large sound. And it wasn't a bad song. It pretty much a nice straightforward intro song for them. Nothing really jumping out in song structure at all in that. Mostly production and kind of the riffing on the guitar. Number 2 was Hail to the King. That was the first single. I'm sure everybody's heard that one. They released that a while back. That one's got guitar tapping on it, almost like the beginning of Thunderstruck by AC/DC, and it does kind of flow at the beginning of the song, goes through even when they're singing in the lyrics. If you hear it sort of buried in the background, the tapping still continues. It's got the same kind of tempo as the first song. It doesn't really change the tempo up of the songs yet, and it almost has, to me, if you're familiar with Iron Maiden, when they did the X Factor, when Bruce Dickinson left, they brought in Blaze Bayley. It almost has a Maiden sound of the X Factor kind of tempo and feel to it, and it's got a ton of tasteful guitar licks in this one, and that kind of is what has holds the song together. I think is some of the great guitar work in it, and it's another song that it doesn't have a lot of different stuff going on in there as far as song structure. Just kind of a solid same tempo song as the first. Number 3 is Doing Time. This one's a little faster. Reminds me more of the old Avenged Sevenfold. It doesn't really get into some faster or intricate song structures at all, but just a little bit of faster. Almost reminds me of almost like an 80s Guns N' Roses type feel song as well. During this whole album, I get a sense of almost like Metallica, what they did with the Black Album, how they went for real high production. It wasn't as... it's definitely for Avenged Sevenfold. I mean, I love the old Avenged Sevenfold with the real, crazy drums, the real offbeat stuff, and the real song structures that take you up and down. This really doesn't have much or hardly any of that in here. It's a very, very straightforward album in as far as song structure, and maybe writing for the radio play and things like that. So I really missed a lot of the real drumming and the cool guitar work with the drums and the bass all following each other and things like that. But Doing Time, this one here kind of reminds me of an old sort of 80s Guns N' Roses type straightforward song. And number 4, This Means War. Again, I would bring this one back almost to Metallica's Black Album, and very similar kind of a tempo and beat to Sad But True. It's got that same kind of tempo. Just really reminds me of something off of the Black Album. It doesn't change much through the song. There's some really nice sort of guitar licks and things in that. Number 5 was Requiem. This one here, they added some evil choir chants in it. Very sort of similar plotting tempo, like This Means War. That type of tempo again. There's some spoken word in this one. Some nice keys. They added a nice feel to this one. A lot of ambience and things like that. This one's a very moody type song. It feels real evil. A lot of evil vibes to it. More chorus and chants in it. And again, not that fast or not many tempo changes in it. Just kind of a straightforward. Number 6 is Crimson Day. This one here is a straight up total ballad. It almost reminds me of Nothing Else Matters from the Black Album. Again, the guitar work, I think, really kind of is the highlights of the song. I think the guitar works and the sort of the tasteful guitar licks are kind of the highlights of this album. You know, not the speed of the guitar or the different guitar changes and things like that, but just kind of the tastefulness of the guitar licks in this album. Number 7 is Heretic. This one here, the bass really drives the song along. It's kind of another straightforward song and some nice guitar harmonies in it, but nothing again that's too much jumping out at you that is memorable as far as song changes and things like that. Number 8 is Coming Home. One of my favorite songs off the album, actually. This one, again, reminds me a bit of Iron Maiden's X Factor sounding. It's got some nice lyrics in this one, a little bit of a faster song, great guitar work in it, and there's some cool double kick beats near the end of the song. There's not a lot of double kick beats and interesting sort of drum patterns in this. They really kept it straightforward, and you can tell on this song they added a bit of the different guitar, the different drum kicking in the end there that made it a little interesting. And number 9 was Planets. This one opens up with some cool snare beats with some, nice guitar licks over top of it. This one has some double kick patterns in it. Not too much, kind of just after the chorus and things like that. Very nice solo work in it. And another kind of straightforward song. Nothing too much spectacular as in, song structure and that. And number 10, Acid Rain, very moody song. It has piano, keys. It's a slow kind of ballad, nice guitar. This one actually is a good, really good slow song. It's got a nice kind of lyrics and story to it, and it's a slow song for them, but I think it really has a great feel and a nice, tasteful song. Overall, it's not my style of Avenged Sevenfold. I did like the old style, Critical Acclaim, Nightmare kind of stuff like that. This one here is just a little too straightforward, straight up for me. There wasn't anything that is jumping out at me that makes me want to listen to it a lot. But it looks like this is their kind of new style, or they're testing the waters out with something just more straightforward. I would like the old sort of real interesting, Avenged Sevenfold with all their, twists and turns and tempo changes and things like that, and real heavier riffs. That's kind of my style. But this is. Some fans, depends if they're I think they're gonna lose some fans, gain some fans on this album, but we shall see how it does. This is Ron from YouTube's Rock and Metal News. Thanks for tuning in.